staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. The show is called Smart Business, a mid-morning show from the hours of 10 all the way to around about 1 every single day. That's every single Monday all the way till Friday. My name is Jane Kasumba. I'm usually not alone. You know, we at S24, Smart 24 Television, have a bevy of studios. We have 3 studios in Nakuru. Of course, earlier on in the morning during the breakfast show, you saw the impeccable studio that is in Chikugo. So right now I'm being joined by my co-host, Anthea Ibembe, and of course, Hannah Mbago. They happen to be in Studio 2 this morning. Ladies, a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Miss Jane.
Yes.
A very Happy New Year to you.
And both of you pretty much look ready for smart business. From both of you, Anthea, I'll start with you. What is a smart business tip that you can give to the public who are watching this morning?
Well, thank you, Miss Jane. The smart business tip I can give to the public this week is don't slack on your resolutions. A lot of people make resolutions to be so great in the new year, but Google a few tricks and tips and ensure that you don't slack on your resolutions. Don't give up on them, mainly if it's starting a business.
So that's a tip. Don't slag or slacken on your New Year's resolution. Keep them going. Of course, it's the 7th of January, 7 days into a very new year indeed. And over again to our Studio B. Hannah, your take on your New Year's resolution. Are you keeping it up?
Thank you, Miss Jane. Yes, I, like very many others, have made a lot of resolutions this year, but my advice to the viewers would be to invest a lot in this new year. It's a new year, there's so many opportunities, especially in agriculture, and it is wise to invest in more than just one thing. That way you have a less chance of failure, because they will not all fail if you invest in about 7 or 8 opportunities. So that's my advice for the new year, Miss Jane.
Okay, thank you very much to both Anthony Bembe and of course Hannah Mbago. But without further ado, before we get down to the market analysis that makes up this program, it's very important for us, because we're always on social media, finding out stories that affect you and me. Are we being smart in carrying out our business? Now, ladies, I found this story, a clip on gentlemen who are being trafficked all the way to Europe. I don't know if you guys managed to see that.
Oh yes, we did, and it's quite disheartening because they pulled them right out of a mattress that was moving on top of a car like cargo, and it seemed like they couldn't even breathe. Did you notice they were suffocated or something of the sort?
Yes, they had very much difficulty in breathing.
They were technically in this position like a corpse.
We will be showing you those images as and when we get them. They were shocking images indeed. They were breaking news throughout the world. For the year 2019, people are determined to make crossing, to make sure that they migrate to countries for a better livelihood. I know we talked about it at length in last year's show, and of course we'll be talking about it again many a times in the next episodes on this program. But most importantly, you're tuned into Smart Business, and the station is Smart 24 Television. So without further ado, most importantly, let's get started. Both ladies, Anthea Bembe and of course Hannah Mbago, have been away on holiday, and I want them to discuss for us at length about tourism in the East African region. I'll take on tourism in Uganda, Anthea Bembe shall take on tourism in Kenya, and of course Hannah Mbago shall take on tourism in Tanzania. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. The show is about to start. staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. It's not by chance that this show is called Smart Business. We give you all the necessary smart business tips to take you throughout the whole day. And of course, the mid-morning show. Just remember, at the end of the day, you too can be part of Smart 24. Visit our Facebook and our Twitter pages. Our handles shall be on the screen as and when we get them. And of course, most importantly, right below me, you can see this bar. This bar tells you all the necessary commodity prices, market prices, the indexes as they're trading at the Uganda Securities Exchange. And of course, most importantly, it keeps you informed throughout the day. And the top news rallies on throughout the entire day of all the highlights making business news, not just here in Uganda, but all around the world. My name is Jane Kasumba. I'm usually not alone, and today, certainly I'm not alone. Like before the break, I did introduce to you my two co-hosts, Anthea Bembe and of course Hannah Mbago. They are of course in our Studio B here in Nauru, and they of course have a lot to tell us in, of course, a very new year, that is 2019. And most importantly, we told you about a clip that we found on social media and how shocking it was. And I know our producer will be showing you those clips shortly. We, as a business channel, are really interested in what keeps Africa and Africans alive. And most importantly, many Africans are seeking to travel abroad. Many of them are seeking to get new opportunities across seas at any cost. And we got this rather terrible, may I say, images of two young men who were trafficked or were being smuggled across a border. And that's pretty much what it looks like. Now, the clip shows a normal car, and I think this is in Morocco, if I'm not mistaken. You have a car, and it has two mattresses on top of it. And for those who are watching Smart 24 Television, you'll think that it's most probably a normal mattress. And there, of course, the mattress is taken down by the Border Patrol gentleman and carried to the side. Now, for those of you who are watching, you must be wondering what could be inside that mattress. And that's what we were also talking about pretty much in our newsrooms throughout the entire day. So now the Border Patrol gentleman ripped that mattress open, and there comes an immigrant from Africa. Shocking scenes indeed, and I know we're going to be discussing this with Hannah Mbago and Anthea Bembe. That is the first mattress, yeah, smuggled like that for hours across borders. Shocking images, and that's why we decided to bring them to you, because this show is called Smart Business and we want you to be smart. That's not the way to go if you need perhaps to get a new life, because you can end up dead. And that's of course the other mattress, and that had another immigrant, and both of these gentlemen actually were coming in from West Africa, and that car took them right through the desert onto the port in Morocco, and I think they were looking forward to crossing the seas to Spain for a better life. So if I can bring in my co-hosts here, Anthea Bembe and Hannah Mbago. Human trafficking is really real to us in the year of 2019. And of course, first and foremost, affects the African continent. Great brain drain, because those young men are not above the age of 25. And secondly, it's quite dangerous. And at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that where they're going, life will be any better. And I know it might not be our market analysis segment, but because the story was so touching, we thought that we would start with that story. And I'm going to ask, of course, our producer to constantly continue to show those images, because they're shocking indeed. Anthea, Hannah, your take on what we're seeing right now?
Well, Jane, these images are appalling. It's devastating to see that human beings are technically treated like contraband. I mean, the value of a human life has lost it. My colleague Hannah here has the definition of human trafficking for those to whom it might need to be clear.
Yes, according to a survey done by the Global Slavery Index, modern slavery involves the act of one person possessing or controlling a person in such as a way as to significantly deprive that person of their individual liberty. And yes, it is very horrifying to think that this is a daily thing that happens every day, to think that someone would think that it's okay to sell human beings like any other thing. It's quite shocking.
It's quite shocking indeed. And Anthea, I want to know some of the statistics. How much money, perhaps, do these migrants have to pay in order to cross the border?
Well, you pay to the people whom actually they tend to trust the people who help them cross the borders. They pay them an equivalent of $1,000, and this we can say that this is a multi-billion business. It's over 150 billion worth. So you find that over 40.3 million people are subject to this kind of slavery, and it's not like it's happening for the best causes or the most humanitarian causes. It's for the most, I think, selfish and inhumane. So you find that they're being trapped into forced labor, sexual exploitation. In some cases, that's for the women and the children, who, by the way, make up 81% of the people who are victim to human trafficking, and that's something quite deadly. And Hannah, you had shared with me that you know 5 countries where the human trafficking happens most. Could you kindly?
Yes, the top 5 countries with the highest prevalence of modern slavery are, starting with the least, Afghanistan, that is top 5, then the Central African Republic, followed by Burundi, Eritrea, and North Korea at top 1.
So the question stays, why are people in these countries so desperate to leave and run off into countries which are seemingly better in terms of GDP and welfare systems? Hannah, what do you think the reasons could be?
Well, Anthea, there are so many reasons, some of which include
Poverty, maybe?
Poverty, yes, there is
Yes.
poverty, there is corruption. Some people are so poor that they decide to donate their organs to be trafficked illegally.
Oh, just to stop you right there, I'm told that an organ, for example, a kidney, goes for up to $500,000, and that's quite profitable because you don't need 2 kidneys. That's what they believe. I mean, if you can live off 1 kidney.
That is, you know, Anthea, we're here. Anthea and Hannah, we're here because we believe in smart business. And of course, trafficking, of course, first of all, being trafficked and trafficking big business, not smart at all. But most importantly, if you're out there thinking that you don't need 2 kidneys and that you can traffic 1 because 1 is at the value of $500,000, most times the person, the donor in such a situation, never gets that $500,000. It usually goes to the trafficker. So it is certainly not being smart.
It's not smart at all because you actually don't gain. As we said, it doesn't happen for the most humanitarian reasons, and it happens for the most inhumane reasons. And what people need to, I think, watch out for is that human traffickers don't always come with 2 horns and red devils. It's sometimes even people you trust. It can be your boss, a trusted relative, someone you've grown up confiding in. They're like, oh, you know, there's this profitable business, it's abroad, it seems like a job opportunity. And they carry you on into a life you don't know. I think people should beware and hold on to their passports. If somebody is taking you to travel, just hold on to your passport, because the person who has your passport has your
total control over you and over your life.
Anyway, yeah.
And of course, I'm going to ask Hannah Mbago just again to tell us the countries which have the highest levels of trafficking in Africa.
Thank you, Jane. The countries with the highest prevalence of modern slavery are Afghanistan at top 5, followed by the Central African Republic, then Burundi, Eritrea, and North Korea at top 1. And yes, it is a very sad thing because, like Anthea said, it could be someone you trust, and the most vulnerable group are the migrants that are not documented. So it is also advisable, to follow the procedures. If you do want to visit another country, make sure you're documented so that when you do go missing, people can look for you and hopefully find you. And another reason is poverty and corruption, and an estimated 126,610 organ transplants were performed illegally just in 2015, according to the World Health Organization. And so this is something that does happen every day. And another most vulnerable group is children. There have been more than 4,000 reported incidents just in Morocco in the year 2017, and so it is something that we need a global awareness to look out for and to
be aware of.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much to both Hannah Mbago and Anthea Ibembe. Both of them happen to be in our Studio B here in Naguru. Like I told you, Smart 24 Television has a bevy of studios. We have 3 studios in Naguru. We have another studio in the heart of the CBD in Chikubo here in Kampala, and most importantly we have partners from around the world to give you the latest business information so that you're able to make the necessary business choices that are important to you. Most importantly about that and trafficking, because we thought that story was just so shocking, we have to start off with that, even if it was not necessarily on our agenda. Most importantly, this is an appeal to governments in Africa, to governments in the third world countries. Make sure that your countries are those kind of places that people want to live in, that people want to stay in. It's unfortunate to have someone being carried in a mattress for, I don't know, over a journey that can last almost 8 hours. Shocking stuff indeed. And of course, when the mattress was cut open, that young man popped out. 2 young men popped out, and some of them as not more than 25 years of age. And that is the heart of Africa. Those young men are the future of Africa. So let's start to protect them and protect them seriously. And for those who are watching, this is certainly not smart business. Like Hannah and like Anthea mentioned earlier before, if you need to travel, make sure you go through the necessary processes. If you have to go and travel abroad, make sure that you have a migration organization that's perhaps taking you there, number one. Number two, please make sure also that you have the necessary travel documentations. And thirdly, make sure that people know where you're going. And that's being smart. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television. Of course, where we believe in smart business. It's not by chance that this show is called Smart Business. We are Smart Business because we give you all the necessary smart business tips. Please take a look at how petrol and diesel per litre is standing at this particular moment. We always update you so that you know where to fuel up. Perhaps if you're in the Kampala region, if you're in Western, or if you're in the Eastern region or the Northern region of the country, we'll be getting you all those necessary details throughout the day as we speak and as we have our local programs on this channel. You can see a lot of changes on Smart 24 Television. We have a lot of local productions that are on course to be on this channel. Good morning, my name is Jane Kasumba. In studio with me, of course, is my production crew in Studio A in Naguru, and our other studio, Studio B in Naguru, also has Anthea Ibembe and of course Hannah Mbago this morning. And of course our market segment analysis is all about tourism, and tourism is big in the East African region. East Africa being of course Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi and Rwanda and South Sudan. But today we're going to be talking about the big three, that's Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, and tourism as a whole. Ladies, if I can bring you in here, I know I'll be tackling Uganda. Hannah, who will you be focusing on today in terms of tourism?
I will be focusing on Tanzania this morning, Jane.
And of course, Anthea, if I can bring you in, who will you be focusing on in tourism?
I'll be focusing on the big dog, Kenya.
The big dog indeed. And of course, let's get started. Of course, tourism has become the backbone of many an economy in Africa, but most importantly in Uganda. And as you can see right there, Uganda is one of the most beautiful places in the world. Coined by Sir Churchill, he called it the Pearl of Africa. So Winston Churchill, that is, he called it the Pearl of Africa, and for that reason, beautiful sunset and great landscape. Well, tourism in Uganda is focused on Uganda's landscape and wildlife. It is a major driver of employment, investment, and foreign exchange, contributing over 4.9 trillion Uganda shillings, and that of course, and of course, to the GDP in every financial year without fail. And tourism can be used to fight poverty in Uganda, certainly. There are now lots of tourism companies which employ people directly as drivers, as guides, as secretaries, as accountants. These companies sell products to tourists, for example, art and crafts, traditional attire as well. Tourism can also be operated online by the online-based companies. Tourist attractions in Uganda include national game parks, like you can see there, game reserves where you can see the lions. You can see, of course, the lions, and those are the game reserves that we have. We have the Kigepo National Park, we have the Queen Elizabeth National Park, and many, many others. And you can be able to see the likes of elephants. And I know many who are watching this program, some of you might live in Africa, but have never had an opportunity to go for a safari. Let us encourage you to have this opportunity to go out and see some of the flora and fauna that make up Uganda. And of course, like I said, our tourism, our main tourist attractions are in national game reserves and parks, where you can see animals like that, the hippopotamus, quite big, if I may say so myself. And of course, he can be found in most of our game reserves. Traditional sites, we also have traditional sites, natural tropical forests. We have occasions like the Imbalu ceremony in eastern Uganda. We have boat riding and waterfalls. But really, Uganda is known, ladies, for the flora and fauna and the beauty that is. And you can see a giraffe when you've gone on one of these safaris. And very quickly, like I said, the landscape in Uganda is very different from other East African countries. It's always lush and green. And we talked about how much money Uganda has been making, trillions of US dollars in terms of tourism. Over 10 trillion Ugandan shillings made in the year 2019. And of course, the Ugandan government makes sure that we are able to have these kind of landscapes and these kind of reserves by ensuring that the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities has what it takes to make sure that it governs all the necessary tourist sites that Uganda has to boast of. So that's pretty much what Ugandan tourism looks like, bringing in a lot of money. And if I can take you over to the tourism numbers, we have in the year 2006, For example, to Murchison Falls, we had 26,256 visitors. All the way to 2018, we had over 80,000 tourists. That's over an increase of over 50,000 people who traveled to Murchison Falls. Queen Elizabeth National Park, by the year 2006, we had 43,000 visitors, and by the year 2018, we had over 70,000. That's a leap. Chidebo Valley National Park had 959 visitors, and of course, we had around 5,000 last year. And of course, Lake Mburo National Park had 12,508 visitors in 2006. By, of course, the year 2018, we had reached 20,000 visitors. Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, which happens to be one of the best in the world and one where people could go and see the mountain gorillas, it had 10,176 visitors by 2006, and now, of course, we have over 30,695 visitors as we speak. So some of the visitors have come in from the United States, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, from Rwanda, from Tanzania, from Kenya, from the United Kingdom, from Southern Sudan, from Burundi, from India, from South Africa. So you name it, Uganda is a huge tourist destination. And if you want to see a lion like that, then you have to make it a point all the time that you're able to perhaps if you're Ugandan, you're able to go to our national parks and see some of the flora and fauna that, of course, we boast of in the country that is Uganda. Beautiful, isn't it, ladies?
It's lovely.
It's lovely.
It's absolutely lovely, making a lot of money. And if I can bring you in here, Hannah, if we can look at Tanzania as a tourism destination, what is on store for Tanzania, and how has the year been in the year 2018 in terms of tourism?
Well, Jane, I will briefly give you the statistics on Tanzanian tourism in relation to GDP and employment, foreign investment, and visitor exports. As you can see, as I'm about to tell you, tourism is a very important sector in the Tanzanian economy because the direct contribution to GDP was about 1.975 million. That's 3.8% total in 2017, and it rose by 9.4% in 2018, and it is forecast to rise by 7.2% from 2018 to 2028. And this is a huge deal because it also contributes to the employment in the country. In 2017, it supported over 446,000 jobs, which is 3.3% of total employment, and this rose by 7.1% in 2018 and is only expected to be on the rise as the years go by. The visitor exports were about 2.178. That's 26% of total exports. That was in 2017, and this rose by 8.2%, and it's also expected to rise by 6.6% in the future. Investments in travel and tourism was 46.5 billion, that's in Tanzanian shillings, and this rose by 8.2% in 2018. And this is according to the World Travel and Tourism Council report. And as you can see, this contributed to 9.4 growth in GDP, which made Tanzania to rank number 2 in terms of other African countries. And in terms of employment, it's still ranked number 2, and it ranked number 6 with a 9.5% growth in 2018 in relation to visitor exports. But as you know, Tanzania is the roof of Africa, as people call it, home to Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa, and I think the 3rd largest in the world. And that is not the only tourist attraction. There's also Serengeti, which is the largest game reserve in Africa.
Very quickly, if I can interject, Hannah.
Yes,
so is the tourism industry bigger in Tanzania than it would be in Uganda?
Well, it certainly contributes to a huge percentage of the country's GDP.
Okay.
Yes.
And of course, is there something? I know you've been to the wildlife parks there. I showed you what what is on offer here in Uganda.
Yes.
You can of course see rhinos. You can see lions. You can see giraffes. What's so special about Tanzania? Why should someone go to Tanzania and perhaps not go to Uganda if everything looks pretty much the same?
Well,
Give me a unique feature.
the most unique feature of Tanzania is you will hear this everywhere. The people are so hospitable. They are so friendly, and
Hannah,
I mean, a
people in
huge-
Uganda are also very hospitable.
Flattering of her to say.
oh well.
No, people in Uganda are also very hospitable. Give me another feature.
I think it's generally an African thing that African people are hospitable, so
Yeah.
that doesn't count.
Well, I have to brag, if I may, because they certainly are, and it does stand out. You will see if you do choose to come visit. But
Yeah.
as you said, yes, there are very many other things to go see, and I do have a list here for you.
Yes.
There is this Mount Kilimanjaro in Serengeti, as
By
I
the way,
said.
I've never been to Mount Kilimanjaro.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's absolutely.
I've seen it in the distance.
Jane, you
Yeah.
need training to climb the Kilimanjaro. You don't.
I hear.
You need to work out 6 months in advance.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you need to work out 6 months in advance, and
goodness,
then
I didn't know that.
they check you to see if your health is
Yes,
in
yes,
tip-top
that
shape.
is true.
Oh.
Because if you're not in shape, you
You-
won't make it to
the
the top.
oxygen is
You'd
so
be
thin.
surprised how many people quit, not even halfway through. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's a
Yeah.
great smart tip this morning. If you think you're going to take your family,
Mountaineering, yeah.
or if you think you're going to take your family, perhaps you want to take your boyfriend, yeah.
So to say.
Yeah, so to say, to Mount Kilimanjaro, and he's not fit, you'll have to leave him behind. So you have to work out like for 6 months, according to
Prior.
Hannah. Yeah, prior, according to Hannah and Anthea, in order to get there. That's a good tip. Secondly, the Serengeti. You told me about the Serengeti.
Yes, it is the largest game reserve in Africa.
I've been. It's superb.
It is beautiful. There are all sorts of animals, and most especially the giraffe, which is Tanzania's. It's Tanzania's national animal. I know here it's the crane.
Yeah.
For Tanzania, it is the giraffe, and so
Okay.
there are so many of those, along with many others: the hippos, the elephants, the lions. They're all there. But if you are looking for something else, there's some of the other parks. Let me just mention those to you. Ngorongoro Conservation Area.
Yes.
There is Lake Manyara National Park, Tarangire National Park, Mount Meru, Selous, and if you are looking for something else, as I said earlier, Tanzania is along the coast of the East African continent, so there are very many islands that you can go and just have a good time with the family or friends. There's Pemba Island, there is Canggu, there's
There's
Mnemba
Zanzibar.
Island, there is Zanzibar. All the Italians are in Zanzibar, Jane.
Okay.
Zanzibar is all the rage. You should take me sometime.
It is. The beaches are so clean and, white.
And the water is blue, yeah?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
On that
It is
note
an
of
experience.
white beaches and blue seas and waters, one might wonder where we are. We happen to be in East Africa. And of course, right now, we will be having our news update shortly. But if I can bring in Anthea, and she can tell us about Kenya. Your take on Kenya.
Well, Hannah has spoken very highly of Tanzania, so I'm here to tell you all about Kenya. So being the economic hub of our country, it has, of course, a great deal of things, of our region, the sub-Saharan region, of things to show in tourism. So tourism contributes second to its GDP after agriculture, and in Kenya there's 3 particular main types of tourism. That's ecotourism, culture tourism, and the sports tourism. So ecotourism is mainly where you go in to see the national parks, you're going to see the fauna and the flora, and as TZ, Tanzania boasts of Mount Kilimanjaro, Kenya boasts of Mount Kenya. That's something that's a landmark that's very pronounced. It also boasts of the Tsavo National Park, as it's also a conservation area. There's a lot of animals, endangered species actually, that you wouldn't otherwise find in any other country. And on the cultural tourism, Kenya boasts of the Masai Mara. You'll find that there's a lot of culture to see there. The Masai people and their dressing, their piercings, their body tattooing, and their way of life is quite fascinating for many tourists coming in from abroad and even in Africa. Personally, I'd love to see the Masai Mara and everything around it. And by the way, Kenya was voted the Best Leisure Destination Award in 2008 at the World Travel Fair in Shanghai. So you can be sure that Kenya is trusted around the world to entertain a lot of tourists. When you're in Kenya, I made a list of 6 places you must visit. A, you must really visit Mount Kenya. If at all you're very good at mountaineering and that's your kind of thing. When you reach the peak, it's the second highest peak, Point Lenana, you'll be very fascinated. Number 2, you must visit the Masai Mara, as you'll be amazed by all the culture. And then that Tsavo National Park will also interest you if that's what you're looking for in the East African region.
And finally,
Lake Nakuru with the pink flamingos. Very fascinating.
Okay, very fascinating indeed. We've given you the 3 destinations of the big 3 in East Africa: Uganda, tourism in Uganda, tourism in Tanzania, and tourism in Kenya. We're going for our news updates shortly. We're going to be right back, and we'll continue with tourism after the break. Thank you for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where, of course, we believe in smart business. My name is Jane Kasumba. This is a Smart Business Show, mid-morning show. I'm usually not alone, and today the usual suspects are in Studio B, Anthea Bembe, and of course Hannah Mbago. We shall see them shortly. And remember, we've been talking about, in our market analysis, we've been talking about tourism and how tourism is impacting the big three in East Africa. East Africa being made of South Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Uganda, and of course Kenya. But the big three, when we talk about the big three, we're talking about Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. They have the biggest tourism industries, and 2018 was pretty much a promising year for them, especially the one in Kenya. Anthea Bembe has been, was before the break, taking us through that. And Anthea, if I can bring you in here, you talked about Kenya being one of those destinations that one must visit, be it the Masai Mara, be it the Tsavo, be it Naivasha, Lake Naivasha, where all the pink flamingos are. Let us know a little more about that.
Well, thank you, Jane. Well, you mentioned something that Kenya is quite famous as a travel destination, and that's because of, I think, the lack of civil unrest in the previous years. But let me carry on to the rest. So as I had stopped, I was giving a little recap of, before the break, the 6 travel destinations I had set out for you in Kenya. So the first I had said you must visit the Masai Mara.
Okay, the Masai Mara, of course, for those of you who might not know, is the one with the hot air balloons, right?
Yes, it is.
And what else does it have?
It has the people in the kangas, the culture, the tattoo piercings, and everything. I think many people go there for the culture. I think it gives the feel of the real Africa, because people tend to think of Kenya and only think of the word jambo. But when you visit the Masai Mara, you get the real feel of a Kenyan person, and you can see where the spirit comes from and all the enthusiasm and ethnicity.
The next one.
Mount Kenya, and that's second in command to Mount Kilimanjaro, just next door in TZ. Of course, we share Mount Elgon, which is also in Kenya with Uganda, but Mount Kenya you'd want to climb, if you're into mountaineering, you'd want to climb to Point Lenana, which is the second highest peak, and as we had said earlier in the show, you have to be fit for that one. The third one would be the Tsavo National Park, if you're into fauna and flora and mainly endangered tropical species that you wouldn't otherwise find anywhere. Tsavo is one of your go-to places. You'll get a lot of wildlife. Those are the lions, and these are some things you won't find in very many other places.
Okay, but what you're seeing right now, of course, happens to be what Anthea has been talking about, the flora and the fauna that makes up Kenya. She's talked about Tsavo, she's talked about the Masai Mara, she's talked about Mount Kenya, and that's right at the base of Mount Kenya, but that is at the Masai Mara. Anthea, you can continue.
Oh yes. And then the fourth, I had said Lake Nakuru. Oh, Miss Jane, you really have to go to Lake Nakuru. The pink flamingos are quite enchanting. It's amazing how...
I've been.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope you loved it.
I did. I thought it was superb. But most importantly, the lions. Kenya, known for their safaris, are usually ones that people or tourists are able to see the lions. And then you can see a pride of lions right on the road, in the road.
Yes. I think we have to commend Kenya for not killing them, because many countries would think they're a danger to the communities in which they live around. We have to commend the communities for learning to live in harmony with them, and also for the Kenya Tourism Board and their Wildlife Association for putting them correctly in their cages so that they can be preserved. And that's actually something people come from very many countries to see, and in very many countries you won't find that a lion just lazily walks around like a human being, and I think that's unique.
Okay, and of course, let's talk about how much money did the tourism sector in Uganda bring in? Tourism sector in Kenya bring in?
Well,
sorry, Anthea.
In the spirit of nationalism, the Kenya Tourism Board recorded that in 2018, Ugandans traveling from Uganda to go to Kenya to tour brought in $66 million US dollars. So I think that's something we as Ugandans should check and maybe be more patriotic. If we're giving Kenya that much forex, perhaps we should also try, as Jane had said earlier, we should try to visit even Ugandan places.
To boost our own domestic tourism.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's really strange. You'll find that people who live in this area, maybe live in East Africa, that many people have never gone perhaps to Chidepo National Park, they've never gone to the Queen Elizabeth National Park, they've never even seen a lion in real life, or an elephant. Perhaps maybe where they managed to see these animals were at the local zoo. Hannah, if I can bring you in here, how much does Tanzania make in tourism in 2018? Was it a good year?
Well, yes. Tourism tends to generally bring a lot of the GDP of the country, like I said earlier, and the direct contribution in 2017 was about 1.97 million US dollars, which rose by 9.4% in 2018, and the total contribution was 4.721 million, which was 9% of the GDP in 2017, and this rose by 9.1% in 2018.
And of course, what you're seeing right now is our pictures from the Serengeti, the cheetah mauling away at an impala. And the Serengeti is one of the biggest national parks in Africa. And just tell us about life in the Serengeti. Hannah, have you been to the Serengeti?
Yes, Jane. Many years ago, I did visit the Serengeti. It is beautiful. It still is. It's something else to see those animals up close and have that experience as opposed to just watching them on your TV or learning about them in school and online. It's quite something to see a lion up close. Really, I would recommend it. Although I have.
Have you ever seen a lion yourself?
Yes, I have. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
At the safari park.
Yes.
And of course, have you seen a cheetah? Because what you're seeing right now are cheetahs, and they're mauling away at an impala. Have you seen a pride of cheetahs?
Well, those animals tend to be very, let me say, secretive,
Yeah.
and private. So they only come out to hunt, and so it's not that safe to be. I mean, it's rare to see them out in the open, but it was very exciting.
And
to
if you see them, it's a gift, yeah. It's a blessing.
It really is, yeah.
Okay, and what you're seeing right now is, of course, still pictures from the Serengeti, and of course, you can see their wildebeest. And of course, they usually come over right there to feed, and of course, you can see hippos as well. The flora and fauna in 3 of the countries, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, is pretty much the same. So I'm going to ask my co-hosts. I'll start over with you, Hannah. If you had to choose a tourism destination from the 3 countries, which one would you choose without being biased?
Well, I don't consider myself to be an outdoorsy type.
Yeah.
I like to just relax. So I'd definitely go to Zanzibar and just hang around the beach.
Okay, and what about you, Anthea?
Well, I'm very deep into mountaineering, so as much as I love Kenya, maybe I'd start from Mount Kenya and Elgon in Kenya, practicing to mountaineer at the Kilimanjaro. So I'm very opposite from you, Hannah, very outdoorsy. I would really choose anywhere with the highlands so that I can explore and breathe in oxygen.
I absolutely love lions.
Yeah.
Especially when they're in the wild. So I would, you know what I would do? I would do the Queen Elizabeth National Park, yeah? And I know that there are lions there. Drive until we search and get a picture of them. Then I'll drive over to the Masai Mara, drive and search for the lions there. Then I'll go to Serengeti and also drive and drive.
So you take a road trip around
I'll take a road trip around East Africa looking for a pride of lions, because you know what? Whenever I've gone to this is a true story.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to a safari park, I never see a lion. So I've never. Yeah.
But you can see them in the zoo in Entebbe.
So I've seen it in the zoo, but I've never seen it in real life. You know.
Yeah.
So I've traveled quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it. So yeah, New Year's resolution 2019, see a lion. Yeah.
Well, that's brave of you.
Yeah, it is.
And of course, I think next week we'll be joined by the ladies and gentlemen from the Uganda Wildlife Authority. We're going to see if they're able to bring an animal here into studio. Let me go over to Anthea. If they were to bring an animal to the studio here in Nanguru, which animal would you like them to bring?
Well, I know.
No, you have to choose. You have to choose an animal that can be found in the 3 countries.
I was going to say pandas because I definitely know they wouldn't brought them.
No, pandas are in China. We can't get pandas. Which animal would you like them to bring to studio? And I know they're watching this show, the Uganda Wildlife Authority, and I know next week when they come over, they'll be coming with an animal. So, which animal would you choose, Anthea?
Well, if I'm being conservative.
And don't panic. Which animal would you choose?
A giraffe. And a gazelle.
How would a giraffe fit in the studio?
But Anthea, giraffe can't fit in the studio.
Okay.
So which animal would they bring that can fit in our? You know, we have huge studios here in Naguru, but a giraffe can't fit here. So Anthea,
bend its head.
No, Anthea, which animal? Because I know the ladies and gentlemen of Uganda Wildlife Authority, when they come next week, they'll be able to bring us an animal. Anthea.
Either a gazelle or a crested crane, and I'm being as rational as I can be. Yeah, none of those scare me.
One of those two.
None of them scare me, and they're pretty.
Or a crested crane.
Yes,
okay.
They portray grace and womanly elegance. So I'd choose a gazelle or a giraffe. Sorry, a crested crane.
And what about you, Hannah? Because when they visit us next week, I know they'll come with an animal or so. Mm-hmm. Which animal would you like them to come with? And don't say a pussycat
Oh my goodness.
Or a rabbit.
or a dog.
I wasn't
Or a
going
rabbit.
to, but I
No,
do
no,
think
yeah.
Anthea's choices are really good. I would love to see a crane up close, but I've never seen a gorilla. So if they could bring a baby gorilla,
Oh, that would be nice.
that would be amazing. Because the big ones are a bit aggressive, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, next week we're going to be having a visit from the Uganda Wildlife Authority, and they'll be bringing some animals here in celebration of our tourism in Uganda to our studios. I'm going to try to see if that's possible. For me, the animals I'd like them to bring is a lion, because I've never seen one. Yeah, a crocodile and a python. Those three.
Wild.
I would
Those
have
three.
to excuse myself for that show.
No, those three.
I'll miss out on that show. I'll show up the next segment.
So, on a parting note to both ladies, just give me your last thoughts on tourism in your various sectors. Let me start over with you, Hannah. If someone's watching this program, tell them where they should go to in Tanzania and what their budget should be like and in what time of the year they should go.
Well, if you are watching the show and you would love to visit Tanzania, that is an excellent choice first, let me say that. You will not be disappointed because there are very many things and so many sights to see. It's not just the game reserves, it's not just the beaches. If you're into historical sites, you could go see the Sultan's Palace in Zanzibar. You could go visit Olduvai Gorge, which has some of the first human... yes, it has
his skull.
Olduvai Gorge. I'm not very sure where it is, but it has some of the first human remains.
Yeah.
You know how they said that life started in Africa? There is evidence of that in Tanzania, the first human skulls and the paintings and the drawings. If you do like that, there's snorkeling.
Nice to see,
yeah, there's snorkeling. You can see dolphins. You can just, it's an all-round sort of country, and you don't have to limit yourself to any one thing. So
But
it
to be
caters
smart,
to
be smart, how much should someone carry with them?
Okay, I would first say that the Tanzanian shilling, as opposed to the dollar currently, is around 2,200 shillings. So if you are coming from Europe or any other country, or even in East Africa, it's good to know first the foreign exchange rates. And I would say, don't plan to stay too long, because the longer you stay will obviously give you a higher bill. So maybe a weekend or a week at most, that is perfect and smart for you. And I think maybe $1 million or $1.5 million Tanzanian shillings might be a suitable idea. Because there's so many things to do, it's hard to give you an exact figure, but if you do pick one thing, I think that's a safe enough figure that you might have some remaining even at the end, because things tend to be quite cheap.
Okay, that's because this program is called Smart Business. We try to advise you on how to be smart, especially now if you have to go on holiday, maybe if you're planning in the summer, because you need to plan like 4 to 5 months to make sure that you have enough funds to go with. And Hannah really broke it down to us why you should go to Tanzania and what you can find there. Anthea, if I can come over to you, yes. Kenya of course has a Savo, it has a Masai Mara, it has Mombasa, it has Lamu, you name it. Where should someone go? And how much should they spend? A viewer who's watching, our viewers of Smart Business, what should they pack, and perhaps how much should they spend?
Well, thank you, Jane. If you're going to Kenya, because it's a tropical country, just like Uganda and Tanzania, you're going to need a pair of sunglasses and a straw hat maybe to save yourself the sun, and also for the aesthetic, it looks good. I mean, how do you tell people you are in Kenya without shorts? And but on a more serious note, I compiled for you a list of airports you can use. Well, Kenya has 2 airports. You would use Jomo Kenyatta Airport, International Airport, if you want to land in Nairobi. And if your destination is Mombasa, there's the Moi International Airport. And in terms of visa, you can get the visa at the airport. For most countries anyway, it's not that difficult to get, but still it would be nice to check on the Kenya Embassy website. So when you're in Kenya, you might need, because Kenya is, as I told you earlier, it was listed as the best leisure destination at the World Travel Fair in Shanghai in 2008. So you'd know that such a place the prices are a bit higher in comparison to TZ. So you might want to pack a little more money. And given the fact that there's even way more to do, and Kenya has a very booming economy, if I might, the biggest in East Africa. So you might want to carry a bit more money because you want to sleep in a nice accommodation, visit all the places, and I've been there and I can tell you, in comparison to Uganda, I don't think it's cheap at all.
It's quite hefty.
Yeah, it's hefty, but then again, it's worth it because if at all we are that recognized in Kenya, not that I'm Kenyan, but I'd love to be. And then if you're in Kenya, as Hannah spoke of the historical sites in TZ. In Kenya, they have Fort Jesus and Old Town. That's in Mombasa. So Mombasa will have a lot of archives and it will give you a very medieval feel, while Nairobi will give you a more semi-colonial kind of modern feel, while yet again putting you on a very modern scale because it has very good hotels. You find that many of the international brands have a branch in Kenya, so you'll enjoy yourself whatever country you're from, because Kenya has I'd say accommodation and something to see for everyone. For the kids, you can go to the parks. For the adults, you can go to the nightclubs, you can go mountaineering, you can go and visit the beaches actually. So there's so much to do in Kenya, but carry a bit of money, you might need it.
Okay, those are great tips. Hannah coming in with Tanzania, why you should visit Tanzania, and Anthony Bembe coming in to why you should visit Kenya. But let me tell you why you should visit Uganda. It's the best of the three, honestly, without being biased.
In the spirit of nationalism.
No. Without being biased, Uganda is the best. We have an airport, Entebbe International Airport. Everybody's smiling at that airport. You land down, you touch down. The weather is fantastic. Ladies, you must admit, the weather is fantastic every single day.
It is good, but yeah.
Yeah, it is the best weather possible.
It's warm anyway.
It is
You
good.
touch down at Entebbe International Airport, there are people waiting for you. Usually, we have Uber at every single corner. So perhaps if you're traveling, maybe you and your fiance are traveling, you catch an Uber. And then from the Uber, you drive all the way. First point is Kampala. You go and get a Rolex. I know. The nicest Rolex are the ones that are done like on the road.
Yeah. When you do it at home, it's an epic
It's
fail.
just not the same. Yeah.
So hot chapati mixed with the egg on top, mixed with the salad, and they give you Rolex Nene, Rolex and Tono.
Nyanya mbisi, you can specify.
You can mix, huh?
Yeah.
Nyanya mbisi, nyanya fumbi.
Yeah.
Which one do you like, Jane?
I like Rolex Nene. Yeah.
Oh.
So you get the Rolex because if you have the big Rolex, and you can split it in two. Perhaps if you're traveling as two, then you head over to Ginger.
Oh, my hometown.
Now in Ginger, you go to the bungee jumping. Huh? We're so stressed all the time. People work so hard.
I'd like to interject.
Yeah.
Bungee jumping was stopped in Ginger.
Are you sure?
Of recent, it was stopped because it was getting weak. But then again, that's something for another day. I don't mean to demarket Uganda. It's beautiful all the same. There's so many things to do.
It was stopped.
It was stopped because
that's
there was
why
a crack.
That's why we have this show, Smart Business, because that's where you can get those kind of tips.
Yes.
So now, if you can't do bungee jumping, then you have to do the whitewater rafting. That one is there, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
So you do the whitewater rafting, and it's absolutely enjoyable. Yeah. I've done it before, but
weren't you frightened?
Well, it is a bit frightening, but you must really know how to swim. Don't take yourself there if you don't know how to swim, because sometimes, depending on the rapids, sometimes the boat tips over and then tips back up. Then from there, from Ginger, you go on to Mbale. Yeah, Mbale has some of the nicest food possible. Yeah. Then if you have time also, you have to make it a point to visit Gulu. Yeah, I absolutely love Gulu. Small town. Yeah. Quite expensive. Good food, beautiful people. And if you have time as well, you can also go to the Igongo Cultural Center. That's in Western Uganda.
You have
very
it
nice.
Illuminated on Western Uganda, and it's very beautiful. Kisoro.
Yes.
Many people believe it's what they used for Wakanda. Do you believe it, Hannah?
Well, I don't know.
It was the inspiration.
It was the Igongo area, right?
Yeah.
And Chisoro and everything, very beautiful. So I think for me, the three places, I think Uganda is the best tourist destination.
I have to agree with you, Jane.
You have to agree with me?
I
okay,
must.
one. So Anthea, you're the only one.
I beg to disagree. Kenya has way more for me.
2 versus 1, so we win.
Yeah,
On that note, we're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. Hannah Mbago, Anthea Bembe, and myself, Jane Kasumba, are in studios. We'll be right back. tuned to Smart 24 Television. We believe in smart business. It's not just about looking good and sounding good. It's about being smart in your mind. Are you making the necessary smart financial decisions and business decisions today? Well, you're in luck. You're tuned into Smart 24 Television, where we're going to give you all the necessary statistics to make you smart in business and in finance. And below here, of course, you can see our market prices. They're changing per the minute. And of course, we try to keep you updated. We have a lot of our reporters both in Western, Eastern, Northern, and Central Uganda who are getting all these necessary prices just for you. So make it a point that whenever you watch this channel, have a notepad and a pen, or better still, have an iPad. In studio with me, two ladies who actually have an iPad, and they have a pen and paper whenever they're here in the studios to jot down what they need to jot down. Anthea Bembe and of course Hannah Mbago. But let's go over to the commodity prices, and I know they're changing, the market prices that is. Many of you, of course, are going out. We need to shop today. Let's take you through what we're seeing right now. Owino market today, Matoke still remains standard at 25,000 Uganda shillings. Exotic chicken at 11,000 Uganda shillings. Local chicken at 25,000 Uganda shillings. Exotic eggs at 9,500 Uganda shillings. Local eggs at 18,000 Uganda shillings. Turkey at 90,000 Uganda shillings. Tilapia for 15,000 Uganda shillings. Meat at 12,000, beef that is, 12,000 Uganda shillings, and of course honey at 15,000 Uganda shillings. And I know, Anthony, you're going to also tell us to give us a national and a regional feel. Take us through the commodity prices in Owino this morning.
Mwebale nnyo oba ogenza okugula emmere mu Owino, amatooke ga mitwalo 2.5 enkota, enkoko enzungu ya mutwalo 1.5, enkoko enganda ya mitwalo 2.5, amagi amazungu ga 9.5, amagi amaganda ga mutwalo na kanana gumu kanana, taki ya mitwalo 9, ekyenyanja ekya tilapia cha 1.5, enyama ya beef ya mutwalo 1,200, ate omubisi gwa mutwalo 1.5.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony. If we can bring in Hannah here, please give us a regional feel of the markets right now for our Swahili viewers.
Asante sana Jane. Matoke yanauzwa kwa shilingi 25,000 asubuhi ya leo. Kuku wa kisasa wanauzwa kwa shilingi 11,000, kuku wa kienyeji wanauzwa kwa shilingi 25,000. Mayai ya kisasa yanauzwa kwa shilingi 9,500, mayai ya kienyeji yanauzwa kwa shilingi 18,000. Turkey wanauzwa kwa shilingi 90,000, tilapia wanauzwa kwa shilingi 15,000, nyama ya ng'ombe inauzwa kwa shilingi 12,000 na asali inauzwa kwa shilingi 15,000.
Hi, asante ni sana, mwebali nnyo. And of course, I know those are the prices that we have this morning, and currently Owino stands at that rate, and we have also now Kalewe market is coming in now. Matoke stands at a cool 22,000 Uganda shillings. It's been that way since Wednesday last week. Exotic chicken at 13,000 Uganda shillings. The local chicken is still quite high at 25,000 Uganda shillings. Exotic eggs are at 12,000 Uganda shillings. Local eggs at 20,000 Uganda shillings. Meat this morning is at 11,000 Uganda shillings at Kalewe market. Honey is at 13,000 Uganda shillings. Turkey is at a cool 75,000 Uganda shillings, a drop there. Last week it was at 85,000 Uganda shillings, certainly for the festivities. So it's starting to lower, and tilapia remains the same as per Owino market. In Kalewe market this morning, tilapia goes for 15,000 Uganda shillings. Anthea,
wetuba tugenzeko mu katale k'Owino, amatooke ga mitwalo 2.5 kati tulaba nga gakendeddeko okuva mu Owino ugagabadde 3, enkoko enzungu ya 1,300, enkoko enganda ya 2.5 ekendeddemuko, n'amagi amazungu ga 1,200, amagi amaganda ga 2,000, gali still expensive naye era gakendeddemuko. Enyama ya beef esigadde ku price yemu 1,110, that's omubisi gwa 1,113, ogukendeddemu 2,000, so oba beto okugugulawo. Ekisinza okunkwatira amaaso, taki ekendedde 1.5 ya 7,500. Tilapia, ebyennyanja ebya tilapia bisigadde nga babitunda price yemu gumu kitundu.
Okay, Hannah, if I can bring you in here.
Asante sana Jane. Kwenye market ya Kalerwe asubuhi ya leo matoke yanauzwa shilingi 22,000, kuku wa kisasa wanauzwa shilingi 13,000, kuku wa kienyeji wanauzwa shilingi 25,000, mayai ya kisasa yanauzwa shilingi 12,000, mayai ya kienyeji yanauzwa shilingi 20,000, nyama ya ng'ombe inauzwa shilingi 11,000 kwa kilo moja, asali inauzwa shilingi 13,000 na bata mzinga ni bei ya chini kuliko market iliyopita, inauzwa shilingi 75,000 na samaki wa tilapia wanauzwa shilingi 15,000.
Haya, asanteni sana. And of course, let's go on to our last and final market this morning. We've already shown you Owino, we've shown you Kalere, and now Nakawa market Matoke is a high of 30,000 Uganda shillings. Just remember, at Owino it was 22,000 Uganda shillings, at Kalere it was 25,000 Uganda shillings, at Nakawa market it's now 30,000 Uganda shillings. Exotic chicken is 13,000 Uganda shillings, local chicken at 24,000 Uganda shillings, exotic eggs at 10,500 Uganda shillings, local eggs at 30,000 Uganda shillings, turkey at 70,000 Uganda shillings, tilapia at 20,000 Uganda shillings, meat at 11,000 Uganda shillings, and processed honey this morning at 15,000 Uganda shillings. Anthea, tubulire market ya Nakawa ekoleetya.
Webale nnyo Jane, kati Nakawa wetuddayo amatoke gazeyo ku mitwalo 3 nga wetwagalabye Kalere wobo balangola ba smart business agaguze wina asinga kubanga obo savinga we 15. Enkoko enzungu ya mitwalo gumu n'13,000, enkoko enganda ya mitwalo 2 awobo bala agiguze Owino asinga kubanga ebadde ya mitwalo 2,12. Amaji amazungu gakendeddeko ga mutwalo n'ebitaano. Then amaji amaganda ga mitwalo 3 awo bagapimira mu tray, so wobaza obulungi era at least oddayo n'ogagula mu Owino we bagatunda ku bbeeyi ensamusamu. Wodda ku taki wanekendedde ddala, so omuntu ayinza okwagala nga ayagala gula taki wanagigula ku mitwalo 7, Kalere ebadde ya mitwalo 9 kitundu, mu Owino ebadde ya mitwalo 7 kitundu, wano ya mitwalo 7. Tilapia yeyengeddemu nnyo waneeno ya mitwalo 2, kati wali eri ebadde ya gumu kitundu wombi, so oli beto okugigula ku buli obutalo obulala. Ennyama ya beef kilo emu esigadde yemu mutwalo gumu n'10,000, then omubisi processed honey oguli processed era gusigadde bbeeyi yemu mutwalo gumu kitundu.
Haya, Hannah, tuambie sokoni inasemaje?
Asante sana. Inaonekana kwamba soko la Nakawa asubuhi ya leo ndio soko lenye bei nafuu kuliko zote mbili, kuliko Owino na Kalerwe. Kwa hiyo hilo ni jambo zuri la kunote wakati mnafanya shopping zenu za leo asubuhi. Matoke yanauzwa shilingi 30,000 tu za Kiganda. Kuku wa kisasa wanauzwa shilingi 13,000, kuku wa kienyeji wanauzwa shilingi 24,000, mayai ya kisasa ni 10,500 kwa tray moja. Mayai ya kienyeji yanauzwa shilingi 30,000. Bata mzinga anauzwa kwa bei nafuu kabisa ya shilingi 70,000. Samaki wa tilapia anauzwa kwa shilingi 20,000 za Kiganda. Nyama ya ng'ombe kilo moja ni shilingi 11,000 na asali ambayo iko processed ni shilingi 15,000 tu asubuhi ya leo.
Haya, asante sana. Special thank you to Alan Bago and of course to Anthea Bembe. That pretty much brings our market analysis to a wrap. We've given you the 4 markets. Nakawa market was pretty high, and of course Nakasero market, those were high. But we showed you Kalere market where you can get yourself a deal, and Owino market, a bunch of matoke going for 22,000 Uganda shillings. Others, if you compare it to Nakasero market where it's going for 30,000 Uganda shillings. Smart business is for you to make sure that you're able to go to the right place and buy the right item at the best and most affordable price. On that note, we're going for a quick commercial break. We have the profiles coming on after the break. Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. I said it before the break, it's not just about being smart. What are you smart about? Most importantly, at the end of the day, it's very important for you to imbibe with the necessary financial and business information so that you can make those necessary financial and business decisions that will change your life. And that's why Smart 24 is here. Of course, like I told you, on the squeeze box, we continue to have our market prices and market rates changing. We expect, of course, many of you to kindly be a part and parcel of this program, and it's very important to do so. I know our producer shortly shall be giving you our Twitter handles and our Facebook handle as well, so that you can follow us and do the needful and comment as well. Tell us what's going on in your business. Tell us perhaps what's going on in your area in terms of business. Tell us how the new year is treating you and what your resolutions for this new year are going to be. My name is Jane Kasumba, Ante Bembe, and Hanambago are in Studio B here in Nakuru. You know, at Smart 24 Television, we have so many studios. In Nakuru, we have over 3 studios, and today we're using Studio A and Studio B. And I know our breakfast team usually uses our Chikubu studios. Super indeed. But without further ado, let me take you through who we're profiling today in our business profile. Her name is Agnes Atim Apea. She's a Ugandan social entrepreneur and founder of Hope Development Initiative. She was named to the BBC's 100 Women program in 2017. This is her incredible story.
17. Agnes Atim Apea is the chairperson of local government. Agnes Atim Apea is the Ugandan social entrepreneur and founder of Hope Development Initiative. She was named to the BBC's 100 Women program in 2017. Agnes Atim Apea is the chairperson of Local Government Finance Commission and is also the founder and chief executive officer of Hope Development Initiative, which promotes the rice growing industry for female farmers in several areas of Uganda. She has led her nickname of Mama Rice. Her organization has arranged agricultural cooperatives in Uganda and drive to achieve the significant portion of a market share. In addition to rice, the cooperatives also work with seeds used to make vegetable oil and cassava products. In 2017, she was named to the BBC's 100 Women program, a list of the most influential women around the world. Apia found out while she was attending the after 7th African Grain Trade Summit in Tanzania, saying it was because she was promoted to social justice and teaching young women that she made the list. She has a Doctor of Philosophy in International Development from the University of Reading and a Master's degree from Uganda Matters University in Development Studies. Agnes Apia is the founder and CEO of Hope Co-ops, a women's farmer cooperative engaged in organic agriculture to earn income and fight injustice. Hope Co-ops have over 5,000 members in the Lango sub-county, focusing on production, agro-processing, value addition, and trade in rice, oilseeds, and cassava products. Hope Co-op's vision is to economically empower rural women to fight injustices, and they are on a mission to unlock the leadership, citizenship, and entrepreneurial potential of millions of rural women through the agribusiness. Agnes' future goals for Hope Co-ops are to establish a robust cooperative movement across the region with a significant market share, where women have a greater stake in the value chain. Prior to establishing Hope Co-ops, Agnes was an international development professional with over 20 years of development experience, working in both national and international development agencies in policy, research, and program development. She has also worked as a gender and development consultant with the United Nations and Commonwealth in Africa and Asia. She is a recipient of a Uganda's Entrepreneur Honorary Award with CODAID Home-Based Care, Columbia University's Human Rights Advocacy Award, and the University of Reading's Social Sciences Studentship Award. Agnes recently completed her PhD in International Development from the University of Reading in the United Kingdom and holds a Master's in development studies from Uganda Matters University in Uganda. Her focus is on solutions and keeps her going. She believes that entrepreneurship should be driven by a passion to solve an existing social problem. Being almost obsessed with her social enterprise keeps her strong and focused during the tough times, and it's part of her entrepreneurial journey.
And there you have it, our profile of Atima Pear, a social entrepreneur, a trailblazer, making a change in our community and in our society. And that's why we have made sure that she's our smart business profile. Ladies, if I can start over with you, Hannah, what did you learn from Atima Pear? Impressive, isn't it?
Yes, she is a true inspiration.
And Anthea?
Well, I'm honestly very proud of her, and I recently wrote a poem called Trailblazer, and I think it would fit a person like her. Perhaps I'll just recite it at the end. It's a very short piece, but I'm very proud of women who would invest in social entrepreneurship. In Uganda, it's very common for women to invest in cosmetics and boutiques and whatnot, but to invest in human beings and their skills, I think that's something. And then she not only invests in social entrepreneurship, but agriculture.
Agriculture as well, big. Agriculture is becoming big. Hannah, if you had to talk to a young person today, young lady, how would you convince them to get into agriculture?
Well, I would convince them to start small, because as we know, the biggest challenge to beginning any job is capital. So start small, but be encouraged that agriculture is the next booming business. It's forecast to boom in the billions in the coming years, so it is the most smart decision to make as far as investment goes.
So Anthea, are you a smart farmer? Do you farm?
Yes, Jane. My mom has a few spices at the back of the house, but then I, for one, I'm a farmer. In my former school, there's a high school, Proud Illuminus, they made us grow matoke.
Yeah.
So you'd have to tend to eat, lest you wouldn't go home that time.
So you would go into matoke farming?
Yes, I know the measurements and the manure you put. So they actually monitored it very closely. The deputy head used to monitor it himself. He'd come and ensure that every matoke is growing. And your matoke had your name, so you couldn't go for someone else's matoke plant. No.
Wow.
And at the end, we actually ate our matoke and we sold it for money to the community, and that's the only experience of farming I have in my life.
And Hannah, what about you? If you were to be a farmer, what kind of farming would you do?
Well, I really like pork, so I guess I'd be a pig farmer, Jane.
And it's very profitable.
It's very profitable.
Yes.
You know that after China, Uganda has the most pork-eating people in the world. True fact, huh?
Yes.
True fact. But most important, for me personally, I rear rabbits.
Aren't they so cute? How do you slaughter them?
Don't they multiply incredibly?
Yeah, they multiply a lot, and it's good business. Yeah, so I have rabbits on the farm. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back with our lifestyle profile. our profile today on Smart Business. It's a man who needs no introduction. He's Ghanaian. He's called Majid Michel. He has received nominations for Best Actor in a Leading Role at the African Movie Academy Awards in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2014, and of course 2017. He eventually won the award in 2012 after 3 consecutive nominations. This is his story. Let's take a look at his mark on acting, and then we'll be right back, and his net worth as well.
Oh, sorry about your breast cancer. I remember Gina at the hospital.
What are you trying to tell me? You don't know.
Which Gina exactly is this? Because I'm a bit confused.
Greg? What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, I'm so sorry about your breast cancer. I remember Gina at the hospital.
What are you trying to tell me? You don't know Gina?
Oh, not you? Oh, then it must be Auntie Flora Gina, the one with the fish.
Greg?
You're the Gina who does the fish. The very good fish I ate the last time.
Hello, Greg?
Oh,
Greg, it's me, Gina.
Gina, you have to invite me over again for this fish. I love that fish, Gina.
Are you sick or mad?
Majid Michel is a Ghanaian actor who is also an ordained pastor. In his line of work, he has received nominations for Best Actor in a Leading Role at the African Movie Academy Awards in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014, and 2017, and eventually won the award in 2012 after 3 previous consecutive nominations. He attended St. Teresa's Primary School and later the Mfat Sipim School, the alma mater of Van Vicker, and also the former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan. In secondary school, Michel was actively involved in theatre and was a member of the school's drama club. As a member of the drama club, he received a Best Actor award in one of their performances on Emancipation Day in Cape Coast, Ghana. He was born on 22nd September 1980 in Cantonment, Accra, Ghana. He is 30 years old as of 2018. Majid is one among 7 sons of a Lebanese father, Michael Michel Arawak, and a Ghanaian mother, Paulina Olympio. He grew up in Accra with his 9 siblings, 6 brothers, Sputnik Michel, Aro Michel, Isaac Michel, Michael Michel, Reggie Michel, and Shoki Michel, and 4 sisters, Roberta Michel, Juliet Michel, Isabella Michel, and Georgette Michel. Michel entered professional acting by auditioning for a modeling agency. A neighbor had introduced him to that agency. He was invited to join the modeling agency, Supermodel Agency, on the behest of his next-door neighbor. He starred in the television series Things We Do for Love, acquiring his nickname Shaker on the set. His role on Things We Do for Love was to be played by a Lebanese boy, and Michel attributes being given the role due to his Lebanese heritage. Things We Do for Love became a success and propelled him into the mainstream. On the strength of his performance in the series, he was cast in his first movie, Divine Love, as the male lead, alongside Jackie Aigemang as the female lead, with Van Vicker in a supporting role. All 3 used their roles in the movie to debut their movie careers. Divine Love was a huge success, turning Majid Michel, Jackie Aigemang, and Van Vicker into household names across Ghana. In 2008, Michel starred as the lead role in the film Agony of the Christ, which received 7 nominations at the African Movie Academy Awards in 2009.
you for staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where, of course, we believe in smart business. And before the break, you managed to see our smart profile. We're focusing on Majid Michel, valued at $200,000 US. He's an African and I think it's Ghanaian, it is? A Ghanaian actor, and you too can be certainly part and parcel of Smart 24 Television. If you have an idea, just visit our platforms, make it a point to drop a comment, or perhaps to follow us. You'll be seeing, of course, our social media tags and handles throughout the day. And of course, like I was saying before, I'm not usually alone in studio. With me on one of our studios, our numerous studios here in Nagari. In our Studio B, we have Hannah Mbago and Anthea Ibembe. And I know Hannah and Anthea, we believe in health, and I know you enjoyed Majid Michel quite a bit. Booming actor from Ghana, but
We've grown up hearing all about him.
Oh, okay.
Personally, I don't watch Ghanaian, but people who do, they speak.
You like
he's
his
all
movies?
Arranged, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's...
Hannah, you watched his movies before?
I think I've watched one or two. He is quite the actor, Jane.
Quite the actor.
And with looks to follow.
Not my cup of tea, but yeah, quite an actor. And of course, now we're going to health, and today we're talking about gastro issues, and today of course we're talking about constipation and the challenges therein. And of course there you have it, a gentleman who has stomach problems, and let's discuss this, ladies. If I can bring you in here, Anthea, what is the best relief for a tender tummy or a constipated one?
From my experience, because it's nothing to be ashamed of actually, from my experience I would say drink a lot of warm water. Try not to upset your tummy further, so you'll want to just have a lot of warm water. Bananas, put some honey in the water, because bananas are roughages and your body needs that. Also tomatoes can work, and you feel better in no time.
And Hannah, if I can bring you in here, stomach is always a very tender organ, and there you can see, of course, pretty much what makes up the stomach and how the intestine region and all that, and the colon, how they all work. But most importantly, let's talk about what we're talking about today: stomach upset as well as constipation.
Yes, I do have some prevention tips as well. Those were quite some nice tips given to us by Anthea. And just a few to supplement. You should include plenty of high fiber foods in your diet, including beans, vegetables, fruits. As she said, eat fewer foods with low amounts of fiber, such as processed foods and dairy and meat products. Drink plenty of fluids, like she said. Stay as active as possible and try to get regular exercise. Try to manage stress, because stress is also a huge factor. Don't ignore the urge to pass stool. I know some people, you know, when you're working or you're in an important meeting, sometimes you can ignore it. But come on, just answer the call of nature. It's for your own good. Try to create a regular schedule for bowel movements, especially after a meal. That's the best time to do it. So if you are going to drink your hot water, as Anthea suggested, do it right after a meal, and you'll just, you know, you'll keep the fluids flowing. And make sure children who begin to eat solid foods get plenty of fiber in their diets as well.
Okay, so there you have it, how to remain healthy. What causes constipation? If I can come over to you, Anthea.
I think it's an excess of the carbohydrates in your diet. So if you have a lot of starch going into your system and much less water and much less roughages and much less of the fruits, you're bound to have a bit of a stiff stool, and that will be very difficult and uncomfortable for you to pass out. So you might want to eat a balanced diet. Try to drink as much as you eat, but not eat as you drink, because that's also very unhealthy. Drink after eating or before, but then again, ensure that you're drinking as much as you're eating, and eat a balanced diet. Have a fruit, have a protein, have a carbohydrate. You won't have those problems.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Anthea. Hannah, if I can bring you in here, how important is exercise for the digestive system?
thank you, Jane. Exercise is extremely important, not just for your digestion, but for your general health and well-being as well. You know, there was a saying that goes, you know, only exercise the organs that you want to keep by 50. So, you know, that's how important it is. And even more so for constipation, because the more you don't exercise, the more those fats just keep staying in your body, and yeah, they pile up, and it just brings you difficulty in the bathroom later on.
So that's how else you can prevent the constipation. Make sure that you eat fruit, make sure that you eat your vegetables, beans, broccoli, corn, peas, all fresh, you know, raw. Everything that's raw is good, and everything that's colorful is good. Almonds are always good. Carrots, beetroot juice, bananas, coriander, tomato puree, snake cucumber, alongside everything else that is greeny and very raw. On that note, we're going for a quick commercial break. We believe here on Smart24 television that you cannot be a smart businessman or a smart businesswoman without making the right health choices. So be the right, healthy, smart businessman and businesswoman today on Smart24. We'll be right back with our sport profile. Thank you for staying tuned to Smart24 Television, where, of course, we believe in smart business. In our sport profile, we always profile some of the biggest sporting names and their net worth and net value. And today I'm not alone, by the way. In our other studios, I told you that we have numerous studios here at Smart24 Television. We have our Studio B in Nakuru, and Anthea Bembe and Hannah Bago, who've been with me since 10 in the morning, are still here. And of course, you having a good day, ladies?
Yes, we are.
I'm enjoying myself immensely, Jane.
Okay.
It's Hannah's first day, so she should have great positive remarks today.
So glad to be back. So good to be back.
On that note, let's take a look at our sport profile. A gentleman who's valued at over 400,000 Uganda shillings. He's Ugandan and one of the most professional players that Uganda Cranes has ever bred. His name is Ibra Sekaja. This is his remarkable story.
Bare surfaced pitch at Kawempe, commonly known as Kataka, before joining State House and later local giants Kampala City Council FC or KCC FC. Sekaja started his senior career with Kampala City Council in 1992 before moving to Argentina in 1998 to make a career in football. His first Argentina club was Atlético de Rafaela in the Primera B Nacional. In 2002, he moved to Ferno Carril Oeste in the Primera B Metropolitana, subsequently helping the team to win the league and secure promotion in the Primera B Nacional. In 2005, he was signed by Arsenal de Sarandi of the Argentine Primera Division, where he spent 2 seasons. In June 2007, Sekaja signed a 3-year contract with Red Bull Salzburg, the then current champions of the Austrian Bundesliga. He made his Bundesliga debut on the 11th of July 2007 in Salzburg's 4-1 win against SC Rheindorf Altach, and scored his first league goal on the 22nd.
staying tuned to Smart 24 Television, where we believe in smart business. Our apologies. Those clips were of Jeffrey Massa and not of Ibra Sekaja. Ibra Sekaja shall be profiled again tomorrow, and then Jeffrey Massa the day after that. Our sincerest apologies. However, we have to bid you adieu. We have been broadcasting live from 2 studios this morning, from our Studio A, where I am, in Naguru, and our Studio B, also in Naguru. And of course, earlier on in the morning, we were broadcasting live from Chikubo, and we're going to be broadcasting live all around the country and all around the city that is Kampala. We have to bid you adieu. My co-hosts Anthea Ibembe and Hannah Mbago are on standby to send out their parting shots on what has been a good show. Hannah, if I can start over with you, your last and final goodbye for today.
Thank you, Jane. It has been a lovely morning, and I thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. From the team here in Studio B in Naguru, we bid you adieu, and do tune in for the rest of the week because we have so much more in store for you.
Well, thank you, Jane.
What did you take away from the show today?
I learned something from Agnes Atim Appiah, and actually her story is very much in line with a piece I wrote recently called Trailblazer. It's very short, so I'll just read it for you. It goes, even as you are young and lacking in experience, it still radiates everywhere you shine that you're the type of woman that happens every once in a community to light the path for younger girls in similar circumstances, on plain days like today, on disappointing days that may fill their 20s, and fruitful years to come. The path existed before you, but it's brighter and much easier to tread because of you and what shines through you. So that's by me, and from the story.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you. And if you can rewatch us on Facebook, where there's links and everything. You can also catch us on Twitter. You can properly link that to the story of Agnes Atim Appiah. Other than that, thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for being loyal to Smart 24 and Smart Business in particular.
Thank you very much, ladies. Anthea Bembe talking, of course, about our profilee today. Miss Atim Appiah, and she has an incredible story. You can follow her on our social media platforms. We're profiling her there as well. Hannah Mbago, of course, saying that it has been pretty much of a good mid-morning. On behalf of myself, Jane Kasumba, I can't leave without saying making a special thank you to our team here at Naguru. A special thank you to Elijah. A special thank you to Isaac, our producer, and of course, a special thank you to Abby in Controls. Thank you for watching, and be smart. This is Smart Business.